We now know how to create activities in Android Studio. We've created two of them so far, the main activity and the string changer activity. The problem, though, is that neither of those activities are really meaningful. All they were skeletons of activities. The main activity originally did change some text, but really nothing useful. In this lesson, let's do something useful. Let's actually create some widgets, and then add events to those widgets. Later, we can add code to respond to the events, and then have actual functionality within our application. I want a view of this tablet that I'm working on that is actually usable. You can see now that I barely have a viewport of the tablet. I want to see at least most of the tablet when I work. To do so, I will select the main activity in the XML. I'm going to make sure this tab is highlighted, then I'll double click. This expands the entire window of Android Studio to the design view. Now I have the whole palette of the design tools off to the left. As you can see at the top, I have the layouts, widgets below, the text fields, containers, and so forth. At the far right, I have the skeleton of what I have currently on this layout. I have the parent layout, which is a relative layout, and I have a text view. Right now you can't see until I select it. There. I just want to add a button. So I'll select the button and drag it to the screen. I'll put it right about there. I also would like my button to have appropriate text. I've created text in the resource file, which is the strings.xml file. Let's increase the size of this so we can see it better. I'll double click. You'll see that the button ID is button. The text is new button. Off to the right, however, you can see there's a dialog button I can press to give me a list box. I can either say Shift Enter like they suggest here, or I can just select it. Now these are the resources I have available within the strings file. I have pre-populated this with a calculate resource that has the word calculate right there. That's the word I want in my button. Above this button, I'm going to add some fields. Specifically, I want numeric fields. I'm not going to use a decimal, I'll just use a plain old number field at the top. And I'm going to put 3 number fields here. Drag that up to make the spacing better. So now we have 3 number entry fields and a calculate button. What I'm really going to do is have a very simple addition calculator. The first field is going to be my first integer. Second field is going to be another integer. And the third field is going to be the result of adding those 2 numbers together. In the text view, if we scroll up, we have my original text view within this relative layout that was hidden. We could not see it earlier. It was blank, no text in it. You can actually see that right here. There's just no text there. I've also created the button. Below the button are the edit text fields. But what we want to do now is connect this button to some sort of event. I'm going to type Android. And it's going to prompt me with a lot of choices here. On, click, calculate, sum. Now let's remember back to a previous lesson where we covered intentions. Right now, I have an option to leverage an intention that we have. This calculate sum is actually the name of the method I want onClick to call when that button is pressed. If I hit Alt-Enter, I get prompted, create onClick event handler, inject language reference, or override the resource. I'm going to create the calculate sum method. You'll see in my code, I have the skeleton of a method to call when that onClick code executes. So if we go back, just by putting onClick equals calculate sum and using the magic hotkeys of Alt-Enter and leverage my intentions, I created a method to deal with the onClick event.